Eyewitness News starts right now with breaking news.
Flames are ripping through an apartment building along Canal Boulevard in Charleston.
This is really just devastating for everyone to watch, firefighters included. This building at the Regal Apartments is about 35 units. We were the first news crew on the scene, and so we've really watched all of this play out from the very beginning when some of the very first fire trucks arrived here. Earlier, we didn't see any of these flames or that thick gray-black smoke.
All right, thank you, Daniel. Continuing our team coverage now.
We do know at this time it is believed that everyone made it out okay, but we are talking about 35 people who are now displaced, now without a home as crews continue to fight this fire. As Daniel mentioned, Red Cross is on scene and will be providing temporary relief. But what a loss this is for those who live there. Now, we did have a chance to speak with someone who did make it out.
I'm just glad that number one, I am safe.
I actually want to show you, this is a live look. This usually is the Oakwood, West Virginia 511 camera, but they're looking across the river. You can see that smoke just extending out here. You got to remember, we're in a valley, folks. So again, this is going to continue to fill the city here. There's really nowhere for this smoke to go. It's not rising very high. I actually want to show you, this is from Mick Wiseman, one of my buddies of the city here. You can see this is just filling into downtown here. Look at the smoke plume.
Thanks to the Red Cross, they're on their way and will be setting up shelter, and the residents right now are safe inside the next church.
Have we gotten to that next point where we talk about the donations? Have we, with the Red Cross, where do we know how many people are displaced at this time?
Well, everybody who lived in the building, so we're talking about 25 to 27 people. Opposite
direction, the wind, the weather could be playing a role in really the fight against this fire and the difficulties with this fire. As we said, the smoke was going the opposite direction here just only 3 minutes ago, and so that creates additional challenges for firefighters. We saw that firefighters were knocking out some of the windows in the front of the building.
I'm standing with someone right now who has been impacted. This is Martin Peterson. Martin, walk me through this evening. What has happened?
I was down in Dunbar. My son called me.
With this fire, we see behind us the flames continuing to grow. The black smoke, thick black smoke is back. And I mean, this is something that you're probably used to, but on the same hand, every fire is unique in some way. Is that correct?
Yes, and this is a larger scale fire for us here in Charleston. We do handle a lot of residential structure fires. However, something of this magnitude, a 4-story building with this much involvement.
The powerful story. You've only lived in this building for 2 weeks. Talk about your story.
Yeah, been homeless for a couple years. Things have been bad, and 2 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to get this place.
One from Ariana Saunders earlier. This was just first initial videos here of the fire as it just started. I mean, you can just see that heavy smoke and the flames causing the major issues for those firefighters there.
If you've just tuned in over the past couple minutes, there has been a huge apartment fire right in the east end of Charleston on Canal Boulevard East in the 1400 block. It's the Regal Apartments. It happened about a little more than 3 hours ago. We also want to let you keep in mind that Canal Boulevard is shut down right now, and it's between Ruffner Avenue and Bradford Street where traffic is impassable. There are more than 70 firefighters on scene. We believe that's all the firefighters in the city. We've heard from 2 people from Anna Saunders. Just heartbreaking stories of loss.
Yeah, one of the guys actually told us that when he got to the scene, he tried to get to the scene to go inside and rescue his dog. Firefighters wouldn't let him, and It's
hampering a lot of our efforts right now. We are working right now with the building commissioner of the city. The fire chief will make this decision here shortly. We are considering beginning some demolition of the building with heavy equipment.
We just continue to hear more and more heartbreaking stories from some of the 35 people who lived inside of those apartments. Now, luckily, we are told that they made it out okay, but as you can imagine, so many belongings lost, so many clothes, people talking about their medicines. Nobody really knows what to do next. Red Cross is here on scene. One of the churches along Canal Boulevard has also opened up their doors to the displaced. But I want to also show you the scene right now, just the heavy smoke presence still here, still fighting these fires, even still flames coming out of the top. Every fire crew in Charleston here tonight.
Just continuing to fill out of the Regal Apartments, and this is also continuing to fill the city as well. We've got gusts between 25 and 35 miles per hour, possibly gusting up to 40 with this gusty line of showers we have moving through. I mean, this is just kind of a wild scene here. You see all of the nighttime. You can see the Capitol building here, and then you've got the smoke plume right there in the middle. And I can't stress this enough. There are some concerns when it comes down to that smoke. The most at risk when it comes down to the smoke that is filling the city
We continue our breaking news coverage right now of the Regal Apartments, which caught fire about 3.5 hours ago right there in the 1400 block of Canal Boulevard East. Everyone did make it out safely. Nobody got hurt. More than 75 firefighters are on scene right now.
Behind me, we're kind of on the other side of Canal Boulevard, where crews are still continuing to battle this fire. It has been going on now for hours, and you can still see the flames there through the trees. We're also here at the Living Word Christian Center. This is where it has kind of become a bit of a gathering place on short notice for people to come. They just opened their doors to allow some of the displaced to come in here. It's so windy out here right now, and the smoke is just getting blown. But they said one of the solutions tonight, it might just be to start bringing the building down. And you're watching a live look right now as they maybe start that process, as that moves closer and closer to the Regal Apartments up there, where they continue to battle the flames. You are watching this possibly come down live right now. I believe it has made contact with the building, starting to give it a little pressure. It is starting to break apart right now. Some of it is starting to come down, and this is supposed to help the firefighters really break down some of that material. We're told there's a lot of tar up top that is causing all of those flames. It is making this very, very difficult to be put out. And here we go. Here's some of the buildings starting to come down right now. We just watched these crews come through, and now we're watching the process of this building coming down. Right now, just kind of taking it piece by piece, it appears. I would assume this would kind of have to be a very careful, calculated process, especially given the fact that we're right here on the boulevard, that so many structures are close to it. But this is what we're looking at right now, the taking down of the building, and this is supposed to help firefighters. There goes another piece right there. I mean, this has just been that constant stream of water on it all afternoon and now into the evening. We had a little bit of rain. I'm hoping that helped a little bit, and now we have a construction crew here to hopefully bring some of this building down to help the fire crews. We did talk with someone on the fire department earlier who said that is probably going to be the best solution right now to help them really contain this. There comes some more pieces falling down right there. And as you can see, as they bring those pieces down, the flames continue to get bigger and higher with each time they do that. And I guess that would be the goal, is to just expose those so that they can then put it out, as it has been just sort of a nightmare situation for firefighters to try to get this thing out, something that they've been at for hours. Every truck on scene, they've had that aerial up there this entire time as well, just throwing all they have on this fire. And now they're trying to bring some of that structure down, and you're watching that live right now. And
residents inside that church, I just want to go back to that thought where residents are they're in shock. They're saddened, and they're some people just moved in 2 weeks ago, and now they're watching it literally crumble before their eyes in smoke and flames. And now this excavator is working to bring down more of the building, and we see it looks like they're now going to focus on the third floor of the building. We see all of the soot and the water pouring out. That's it looks like black water just from all of the soot and the fire and everything that fire crews have been dumping on this building now for the past 4 hours. This seems to be one of those final solutions that they never want to do, but in this case they do have to demolish the building and everything else that's inside.
Dozens sent running from their homes by massive flames.
This is the biggest fire I've ever seen.
424 Canal Boulevard East at Regal Apartments. Multiple calls, smoke coming from the roof.
Fire ripping through an apartment complex in Charleston. We just moved here 2 months ago.
Now, more than 30 people are without a home.
This is bad. This is real bad.
Local leaders rushing to the scene.
We have residents on the street who've lost every single thing that they own.
Now, those burned out of their homes are trying to pick up the pieces.
I mean, we lost everything.
They're staying in this Best Western, which is right across from the Clay Center. I spoke to a few residents tonight. They didn't want to go on camera because, honestly, they're really trying to process exactly what happened. One woman told me she's in shock, she's upset, and she was inside of the grocery store when she heard about the fire, and all she has left are the clothes on her back.
Tonight, we're going to fill some medicines and bring back to the people because those are things you got to have to survive.
So going forward, if these people need these medications for a long period of time, maybe their prescription they're not able to fill it later on this month, what are you going to do to help them?
So what we're going to do, sometimes it just depends on the insurance. Sometimes they won't budge. They won't let you have an early refill. So we're going to fill the gap. We're going to work with their physicians, work with their current pharmacies, see what we can do. But the main goal is to make sure that people don't go without medicines. So if they, for whatever reason, can't get them filled, then we're going to work on that, and we're going to fill them at Health Right. So anybody that lived there or has any kind of loss at all, if it's diabetic supplies or insulin, Accu-Check machine or anything like that where you get your sugar, we want to make sure that they contact us. And
we're here by the West Virginia Regional Response Team. This is just one of the people that are out here. But let's really take you back to the Regal Apartments. We're going to take you as close as we possibly can. And of course, our photographer Hannah is going to walk across in the water with us. Be careful there. This is as close as we can possibly get to the demolition that's going on here. And so this is what's left of the building, and they really had no other option. This was a last resort when this fire was raging earlier, where they did make the decision with the city engineers and with all of the crews, the fire crews, the mayor, where they said, look, we need to bring in a demolition team. And this was bound to happen anyway once they realized that there was no turning back. And what's really sad is that we can see some of the mattresses that are here of some of the stuff that's just left over from some of these people's homes, people's lives, reduced to rubble. And so we see there's just nothing but twisted metal, really. And so it's very eerie when you're staring into the open building and you see, a ceiling fan, you see a light, you see pictures of family members sitting on a nightstand that is now in rubble, basically. And so there was no choice really here, where they realized that it was too dangerous and that it was going to be condemned anyway. What is interesting is that this building did have an issue with its water and with its fire suppression system back in September of 2022. And so this is not the first time that there has been issues with this building. In fact, it was condemned for a couple hours until fire crews came in and they deemed the building safe, until today happened. And so they still don't know exactly what caused the fire. But earlier in the day, we spoke to the fire chief, and he said, the fire captain rather, and he said that it started at least somewhere within the roof, maybe between the eaves. And so it's up to the fire marshal to continue to investigate and figure out all those details. And so, as we look at the demolition, he did say earlier that because of this demolition, some of the evidence is going to be reduced.
It's been one of those days where you might have been out on a walk, like James, who was just out on a walk around the city, and you could just see the smoke just filling again out of the Regal Apartments there. So we're going to continue to follow this. As you can see, numerous posts from social media, including the Living Word Christian Center that is continuing to help. They're praying for folks tonight. You've also got the images from folks that were just walking around and seeing the smoke, and we'll continue to monitor social media for you all night long. Dave?
We will continue to provide updates when we're not on air, and you can get those immediately on our digital platforms. Be sure to follow us on any of these sites for the latest information.